Welcome to the Jungle XTRA presented by DJ Esports. Sign up on djesports.io to immediately participate in the World Prediction Series and get 1500 DJT free. Hey everyone, dGon here and Monty here for Jungle XTRA, and we're going to dive into some of our predictions and picks for the World's quarterfinals using the DJ Esports web app. So Monty, you ready to go?
I am so ready to predict some games, dGon, and get more DJ tokens. It's free. It's fun. You can just go there, enjoy some predictions for free. It's great.
Yeah, if you do well, get yourself out of the DJ tokens and maybe into some other types of tokens. Let's dive right on into it. All right, so once you log in, you can see right here, esports and streamers available 24 hours a day. Click on that one, and it's going to pull up what currency you want to use. We're using DJ tokens. Bam. And there it is. It'll pop up into another browser screen. And then from there, you'll have all your matches. And so we want to focus on LoL, and obviously as much as exciting the Greek, Iberian, and Prime League are, we're going to be focusing on the 2021 World Championships. So here are our four matches. We know it's the quarterfinals. We've covered them before, but now, not only do we talk about some of these odds here on who we think are going to win, but also if you click on each match, there's going to be a bunch of different prop bets that you can pick on. So whether it's the best of 5 handicap, like how many games they're going to win, how many games they're going to have to win off of, or if Animal Life is going to win off of. If you scroll down, game 1 predictions, whether who's going to get the first blood, first turret, first dragon. And as you scroll all the way down, you'll see all the different types of bets that you can make using your DJ tokens. So let's keep it simple and start at the top here. T1 and Hanwha Life. Globally ranked here. Your information is on the right side of the screen. Number 3 in the world, according to DJ Esports here, Hanwha Life, number 10. So one of the lower rated squads, although they might have one of the best mid laners in the world in Chovy. We've talked about it a lot here, Monty, but how do you see this one going just from a straight up perspective?
I think that this is likely to be one of the more one-sided matchups. I don't even think that's controversial. Like right now, T1 looks great. I think it's interesting when we look at this matchup because we see kind of two very different styles. Like Hanwha's playing through mid and AD carry. Meanwhile, T1's playing through mostly top and jungle. And Gumayushi to a certain extent as well. But I think this would be very, very difficult to predict against T1 unless Chovy and Deft have some sort of insane monster performance. But the problem is that while they're playing a low econ mid style, T1 that is, there's always the threat that Faker could just pull out some higher damage champions. It's not like he's not crying. He's not limited to playing like TF and Galio, right? So the LeBlanc could come out at any time. They could certainly challenge the mid lane if they wanted to switch up their style. It feels like Hanwha, they just have this one style. And Kana's been very good at this world championship. Morgan's been bopped most of the time. So I think it's really, 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 really hard to see Hanwha Life winning this series. And honestly, these odds aren't even remotely good enough for you to predict it, I don't think. I don't think 3.4 is enough to even begin to consider picking Hanwha. It needs to be higher than that.
So then what kind of odds are you looking at? Because these are some of the best odds so far when we take a look at all of the matches, right? If you look at all the matches, 3.4 is pretty high. It's the second highest.
It is. But if you had the Dom 1 odds, then Dom 1 versus Mad Lions, and maybe I think you're like, well, I could take a flyer and like pray for the Church of Chovy to answer my petitions to God. But I think this is ridiculous. I think T1 all day here. I really don't see any world where Hanwha Life is going to win this one. And I don't think that's remotely controversial. But they're lucky, frankly, to have gotten this far.
All right. Well, then if that's the case, I will take the expert opinion of Monty. Not click on. I almost clicked on Hanwha. Click on T1.
Come on, you don't need my opinion to do that. You would do it anyway.
I would do it anyway. And we'll drop it on in. I have, how many tokens do I have? Where am I at? Where's my tokens? I think I had
look, Fnatic had a full roster. We wouldn't even be talking about Hanwha right now.
That is true. That is true. I will bet an eighth of it, and I only get 400 back, but that feels like pretty sure money as long as T1 wins this one. Let's confirm. Bam. Confirmed. There it is. So I'll get my 0.12 return on this. Sure thing. This is like a blue chip stock, right? You just put it in, you know it's going to grow. T1 taking the win over Hanwha Life. Now, I think
it would be a shocking quarterfinal upset for Hanwha to win. Shocking.
It would be, according to the odds, the second least likely to happen. If we take a look at any of these handicaps, though, do anything jump out at you when you think about what Hanwha does well, or that T1 does well? Maybe there's a first blood that we should pick. Maybe it's first to 5 kills. Is there something here that catches your eye?
I think maybe there's an argument that you make a first blood prediction for Hanwha. In the group stage, they did have a higher first blood percentage, 71% to 67%, but that's really close, obviously. Yeah. So, I mean, maybe that, but I still think T1, you know, they also had a harder group, one would argue. And so the fact that T1 has had such an immensely strong early game, in fact, T1 is the leader in the tournament in goal difference at 15 right now, means that any of the early game props, I would say, even though Hanwha has been okay, like I think it's still dangerous to pick them over T1, like pretty dangerous. There's not like a clear cut, early game advantage that you would see from Hanwha here. So I think it's risky personally.
All right, so staying away from that. I do think, though, that this first game is going to be a stomp. And normally in stomps, I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, stomps, it's not like, hey, someone's going to lose like 30-5. I feel like it's like, hey, they're up 10-1 and this game's going to close out. So I'm feeling okay with this 24.5 total kills. I feel like we're going to get under that. And so that is the favored side. I'm getting less odds than over that. So I'm going to place a bet here for that one as well. Not as much, though. I think I did 1/8. I'll probably do I'll just do a 16th. What was the 8th? 14. So yeah, like 600. There we go. I'll throw in 600 DJT.
So here's the thing. I think that's actually a good shout, dGon, because T1 actually has the lowest combined kills per minute of any team at this event at 0.6. Now Hanwha's fourth from the top, but also they were playing against teams that I think are more likely to kind of have fiestas in these games. So if you think T1 is going to win, then I think you believe that T1's going to close very clean, which they have been doing. So I think that's actually pretty decent. And it's actually surprising that they have such a low combined kills per minute with such a high first blood percentage, because the second lowest is EDG, which you might expect. But EDG has had a very slow early game, so that makes a lot more sense. And they haven't been getting a lot of first bloods or early objectives, early plates, whereas T1 has had a very kind of a peppy early game, we'll say. Yeah. And but they close real clean. They close really, really clean. And they also have the shortest average game time in the event at 28.5 minutes. So I would say that's probably pretty good overall.
Yeah, hopefully it's just not the 100 Thieves fallacy where you have a couple of ganks, one team fight, and then team fight ends the game, and that's why T1's numbers are too low. We'll see. All right, so we have our first two bets here over on DJU Sports website. Got T1 with the win for the whole series, and T1, I guess, and the first game being under 24.5 kills. So we'll see how that one goes. All right, next up, I think the closest match, and also our bookies also saying that this will be the closest match, RNG and EDG. And this is one where the second seed, EDG, right? Second seed EDG. I think EDG is second seed, or is he the first seed? No, they're the second seed. Is favored seed, yeah, in this matchup. RNG was the number one seed from their group, and now find themselves the underdog here. So let's dive into this matchup just in general. What do you think about this series here, Monty?
Well, I think, like, obviously there are going to be the favorites because EDG is the LPL champions. They had a tough group where T1 was able to come out 5-1. Because EDG lost 100 Thieves. I think that they looked really strong week one and that they kind of faltered in the second week of competition. But RNG had an easier group. especially with like a gimped Fnatic in it, which is why they were able to come out in first place. The Hanwha is a significantly less scary second team in the group than T1 if you're EDG, and so it makes sense. Look, I think Royal is kind of uniquely suited to this meta in that they play through Xiaohu, and Xiaohu, top lane has proven so strong. But that said, I think EDG still definitely the favorite here. This is a matchup that they're going to know intimately well from the LPL. EDG is still incredibly good in the late game. They're very patient. They play their team fights, among the best, if not the best overall at this tournament so far. And I think we can forgive them a few missteps in the second week of the round robin, especially because now they're going into a best of 5. They should be much more comfortable in that, and especially against an opponent that they know so well. So you anticipate that that's going to be, a pretty. I think this is pretty EDG favored. I'm surprised the gap isn't bigger.
Yeah, this is I love this type of matchup where there's so much history with between these organizations, and now they find themselves as powers. And also, as I'm like diving into the app, I'm finding this whole right side of the page very interesting. Like, hey, here's their global ranks, so it's 4 versus 2. Here's their individual ranks at World, so the LPL just denotes that they're from the LPL, but then their global rank in terms of how they've done. And you've got some kind of stinkers here in Meek and Mako, the supports, not rated that highly based off of their stats, but then you scroll down to the bottom and you got the number 1 and number 2 junglers here with JJ and Wei kind of bouncing back and forth. So now that we've discussed it, it sounds like you're leaning on the side, or it sounded like you did make your prediction on the side for EDG to take the win against their favored reigning MSI champion brothers, RNG. So how sure are we of this based off of these odds here? It's 1.7 for the win compared to just doubling your money for RNG.
I'm pretty confident in this one. Now, there's a caveat, which is that all domestic best of 5s can especially between LPL teams, can sometimes just be random fiestas. I think last year, if you looked at the JDG Suning match, you would not have expected Suning to win, and they did. So it does introduce like a level of volatility, I would say. One thing that could be interesting to go down to is, again, like you pointed out before, the kills, like how many kills are going to be in this game. Because EDG, as I mentioned in the last one, is second only to T1 in terms of low combined kills per minute. In their games at 0.67. So, total kills under that is probably, I think it's possible. Now, again, LPL matches do have a tendency to turn into high kill fiestas. So if they play differently against each other than we saw EDG do in the group stage, because there weren't any LPL teams in EDG's group, that could happen, right? But overall, you would say EDG has been very clean. They actually, if you look at total kills on these teams, EDG has third lowest. And remember that they went 4-2, and the only teams lower than them were FPX and Detonation, Focus Me. So EDG only had 70 kills in 6 games, which is 11.67 per game. And they were winning most of their games with that low kill score. So if they continue to win, if you believe that they're going to win, it's possible that they hold Royal to a lower kill score. Now, here's the other side of it. Yeah. RNG has the highest kills of any team in this tournament at 131. They also have the second highest combined kills per minute, except for Fnatic. And Fnatic's games were kind of fiestas if you watch them. So it's weird, right? Because you get the teams that made it out with like the lowest total kills and the highest total kills, the teams that made it out of the group stage. So I still think if you think EDG is going to win, that under 26 is probably pretty reasonable.
Yeah, for game 1. I think after you've spewed it out to me and I'm going through my head of different RNG, EDG matchups in the past and just the LPL in general, this is so volatile. It's so volatile that I'm just kind of happy to take just the matchup here itself, and I'm down to go with EDG.
This is definitely, I think, the hardest one. Well, the Cloud9 Gen.G one's pretty hard as well. But I
Yeah.
feel like there are more crazy variables in this match that make it very, very difficult to account for.
Yeah, I agree. One thing that was pretty cool while we were taking a look at this is that while we were taking a look at the odds here and discussing just the head-to-head matchup of EDG and RNG in a best of five, it's live odds. So the odds actually went up for EDG. Someone, or I guess people were starting to pour money on, or pour DJ tokens on the RNG side. And so EDG's odds went up. And so now we'll get a better return on our money. I do think, though, that, again, I don't like the way that this game feels, so I don't feel very confident. I'm just going to throw 500 DJT
That's
here. That'll
fair.
leave me with 3,200. And,
This one scares me a lot.
It's scary, dude. Just because of how much these guys will, like, I like what you said, when it's a domestic battle, the teams will just drop down to whatever they do in that league. And a lot of the time, maybe not so much in the LCS, but a lot of the time when you look at European teams or Asian teams, it just gets aggressive in the LPL, or in the LPL, it gets aggressive. Think of the LCK, it gets a little bit more tactical and big team fighty. And if it's not on, they'll back off. But in the LPL, they just want to fight and outplay you, and it'll be fun to watch.
All I have to say is just look at the two all LPL best of fives we saw last year, where Suning beat JDG and then Suning beat Top. They were played really differently than the rest of the World Championship in terms of like kind of a regression to an LPL meta. Surprising upsets. So I always get a little leery when you see the LPL all LPL best of fives at Worlds.
Yeah. All right, next up, the most lopsided one and probably the most straightforward one here. Damwon, Kia, and Mad Lions. This is the number one rated
one is
team in the world.
T1 over Hanwha. I maintain that is the most one-sided matchup. This is close, I would say, but
Yeah.
How can I put this? There is a small world where Mad Lions win this, but they do have a lot of bad matchups. Like, the problem is that you're not going to beat Damwon in their weakness, which is Ghost and Barrel, because Carzzy doesn't have the best champion pool for punishing them in lane. And his champion pool is kind of weird overall. Like, he's not a very good Aphelios player. So, Ezreal is one of his best champions.
Yep.
So it makes it hard to do that kind of punishment in the laning phase. And then if you were looking at Elyoya and Armut and the kind of jungle and top meta that's very prevalent right now, hard to imagine they would be able to take down Khan and Canyon. Humanoid has been okay, but not great this tournament. Certainly not living up to his LEC performances. So versus Showmaker. So it's tough. It's tough to predict that here, but 5.3 is pretty juicy if you wanted to put a small number of tokens on it and see if it goes anywhere.
Yeah, this is the matchup where if you're trying to generate value without a lot of risk, you can do that based off of these odds because of Damwon, Kia, the form that they're in, the undefeated squad in their group stage, the returning reigning world champions. So there's a lot of like storied history here for Damwon, Kia, but and obvious, but how much actual power do they have? I don't know. That Group A was kind of weak, so maybe you can find a. I don't like taking this heads up because I just feel like Damwon's going to win. But maybe there's a prop bet that we can find here, Monty.
There's some good ones here. There's some good ones here. So Damwon currently has 100% first blood rate, 100% first tower rate, right? If you look over at Mad Lions, they have a first dragon rate of 13%. So these are some stats that you could probably make pretty reasonable predictions on, such as Damwon winning all of those things. Mad Lions hasn't been particularly strong overall in the early game. So even though Damwon I think has been prioritizing Herald, as many teams have, over Dragon, like 13% for Mad Lions first Dragon is pretty shit. So I want to look at that. Yeah. Mad Lions is at 38% first tower compared to 100%. Obviously, part of this is not winning all of your games and not having that early snowball, but I think there's some predictions here, these props that you could make in favor of Damwon that feel pretty safe.
Uh, Game one total Barons 1.5 is the current line here. So 1.5, and it's 1.4 under, 2.5 over. Damn one Kia, as much as we've like
They have
lauded a
had
lot
some
of the
Baron
great teams,
steals.
they've had some Baron steals. We know that Elioyak has the opportunity and has the chance to do that. Some ice in his veins. Maybe this is the play that we can do it, because Mad Lions,
That's a good
Tom says
point.
this all the time, very resilient team.
So yeah, they are very resilient. They could push it to two Barons, especially because Mad Lions, in spite of not having a very good group stage, did actually get over 50% of the Barons in their game, which is kind of an indictment of their playstyle in many ways, right? Like
Yeah.
you're getting over 50% of the Barons, but you're not, in 8 games, but you're 4-4. Um, Now, Damwon did get 89% of the Barons, but there is a universe where if it's those kind of odds, 2.5, you could say that's a possibility. You could
Yeah.
certainly say that's a possibility.
Actually, I think these two are what I am looking at here. Game one total turrets taken and game one total Barons. If the thinking is the same, that Mad Lions is going to be resilient and drag the game out,
Yep.
that also means more turrets are going to get taken. So I think these are the two bets that I think I'm willing to
Yep.
go ahead and put on. So hopefully we get a decent game time here. So I'll throw on. So I've got 6,000 is the limit that I could put on here. So I'll put on 500 here, and we'll turn that into 1272. All right. So hopefully that game goes long, and then this is under.
Do a game one first dragon too, because honestly, 1.5 to DK feels pretty good considering how bad the first dragons have been for Mad Lions overall.
All right. That one I feel more willing to bet on because of how bad Mad Lions has been. So I'll drop down 1,000 here to try and win 583. Confirm. And then we'll go back down to the total turrets taken. All right. Help me with this one, Monty. I am slightly confused on this. The right side here with Mad Lions plus 7.5 means it's just how many turrets get taken overall. The lion, the Damwon Kia and the Mad Lion symbol don't matter in this, do they? Let's see. They get
I don't
spotted
know.
7.5. Oh, it's how much that team is going to take. So game one total turrets
Yep.
taken. This is Mad Lions getting plus 7.5. So they would have to get at least 7.5 of Damwon Kia's total turrets taken. This one's a little confusing, but I'm pretty sure that's what that one means. So as long as they don't
not
lose,
going to happen.
yeah, as long as they don't lose 7.5 turrets, which that's probably not going to be the case. So Damwon Kia taking all the turrets and taking the victory, and hopefully taking me some tokens. I will bet 500 on that one as well. So 3 bets in this match. I like it. I like it. All right, here we go. So there we are. 500 to win, basically 500. It's 486. All right. Finally, our final game of the day, because I didn't want to bet on the overall for this one. It's Generation Gaming and Cloud9. People forget that's what Gen.G stands for.
It's so fucking terrible.
It's great.
dGon, there were people in a conference room and they were doing branding exercises. And somebody
Okay.
said, you know what you should call yourselves? Generation Gaming, Gen.G. And everyone said, that's a great idea. I wish I could have been there. I wish I could have been there.
Gen.G sounds like Genji. They also own Seoul Dynasty, so maybe they were Overwatch fans that were there.
Also they're a lot of their businesses in Korea, and Gen.G sounds a lot like the Korean word for a piece of the female anatomy that we won't go over on this show. So I wouldn't have named it that personally, but they made a decision.
They made a decision. Generation Gaming it is. All right. Gen.G here is the 5th ranked team in the world against Cloud9, the 20th ranked team in the world. That's
by the way, all I'm saying is they started to field female teams and they haven't like branded it like that yet, which is there's always
a
that
branding
opportunity
missed. They have bundle though. That's pretty good.
I'm making dGon nervous. He doesn't want to go here.
It's not my job. My job is to rein us in. You go as far as you want, and it's all you. Generation Gaming, the 5th ranked team in the world against Cloud9, the 20th ranked team in the world. Cloud9 getting out of the group of death. With that win, probably progressing everything that the LCS has done this year forward. Whether that's true or not doesn't matter. C9 and Gen.G. This is the best draw that Cloud9 could get. What are your thoughts on this one in a straight up?
I think Cloud9 wins this series, which might surprise people. I think the odds for Cloud9 should make you consider this because 3 to 135 is, it feels like the gap between the actual reality of this series, which feels very 50-50, and the odds means that you could get some nice return off of the Cloud9 prediction. The problem with Gen.G is that they've been getting a lot of advantages in the early game, but they don't convert those advantages into wins quickly. All right. Gen.G, for example, have a 38% first Baron rate. Okay. Right. Let's think about this. In spite of the fact that they get first blood, first and first turret 75% of the time, and the first to 3 turrets 63% of the time. And yet they have a sub 50% first Baron. And they have more wins than losses. Okay? That's not good. And if you're going to punish Cloud9, the thing is, how you ask yourself, how have teams been winning against Cloud9? They've been snowballing Cloud9's early mistakes. We saw from some of these games, we saw from Cloud9 versus Rogue tiebreaker, that Cloud9 is very good at stalling these games out and eventually finding a way to get the damage in to beat you, right? So I think this is a bad matchup for Gen.G. Cloud9 is not the team that you want to take into the late game, especially when Gen.G is so questionable, right? So weirdly, first Baron, Cloud9 is 57% first Baron rate. So, yeah, I think first Baron's a very interesting one that you could pick for Cloud9 here, and I think Cloud9 does have an edge in this series.
And to throw it out there, because I was scrolling through, this is what I wanted to correct real quick. I was scrolling through the stats information on the page within the website. These are stats within the DJ Esports terminal that are from the most recent 25 games. So also make sure you always do your own research. That's what Monty's pulling up.
I'm pulling up the world stats only. So these are the world's correct. Also world's group stage only. So when I talk about Cloud9, I'm not talking about play-ins, just to be clear.
Good. There you go. So a little bit of research necessary here. I think with this one, we feel confident that Cloud9 is going to win this series, which is interesting.
If you're confident, 3 to 1-3 is crazy. If you're actually confident in C9. Now, of course, which Cloud9 shows up on a given day. But my point is that the worst iteration of Cloud9, Gen.G would still have a hard time punishing because of their own flaws.
Right. But this is my point. This is where you can really let the copium hit you, Monty, and go with, do we not only take Cloud9 in the best of 5 series, but do we spot Gen.G a game? Do we take them 3-1 or less, right? I can't take them 3-0. I can't take them 3-0, but 3-1?
No. 3-1 is possible. 3-1 is
possible. You go from 3-1 odds to 4-5. See, you just
spicy.
saw Monty look at it, and it gets really juicy.
That's good. I like that one.
Yeah, me too. Damn. So this is good.
Man, if you were really confident, the 3-0 is kind of.
This is bonkers, but you just.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't do that. The 3-1 is interesting.
The 3-1 is interesting. You could.
Honestly, I just stick with the best of 5. C9's too volatile. It's still pretty good odds. And for me, the specific outcome of 3-1 is not worth the difference between 4.5 to 3. I would still take 3. I feel more comfortable with that.
3 it is. I'll roll with
I
that.
just think some of the props on like first blood, because Gen.G is 75% first blood, 75% first turret compared to 57 and 43 for Cloud9. Like
Yeah.
first turret to Gen.G seems like something that you can feel confident with, but then first Baron to Cloud9. I mean, there's wild shit that could go on in these games. So
All right, let's do it. First turret, Gen.G. They'll
yeah.
take what lane turret? Bot lane turret? Bot lane turret. They'll take bot lane turret. I'll slap on, that's too many. I'll slap on 500 there for first turret. Nice total
Yeah.
300
Do first
token
Baron to
return.
C do first Baron to C9.
First Baron to C9.
That's actually pretty good.
There it is. So the return here is 2.2. I'll take that. So my 1000 turns into 2218. Is there anything else in here that game duration over 34 minutes? 34 is like, I think, a
That's
good
actually
mark.
so. Gen.G has an average game duration of 37.9 minutes right now, and Cloud9's at 35.5. So what is it? So they're both over 34. All I'm gonna say is they're both over 34 right now. So like that's probably a pretty fun one.
All right, slap that one on for another 1000. I'm feeling confident on that one. All right, cool. We are all over this game with DJ tokens. Try to see if there's one more that we want to say. Most player kills at 6.5. Most player kills. So one player would have no more than 6.5 kills. That doesn't sound right. That sounds like, yeah.
Let's see here. Gen.G is third in total kills right now. They've played 8 games. Hold on. They're averaging 15 and a quarter kills per game as a team. So one player having over 6.5, you know.
That's about equal. Yeah, because I guess you would divide it up by three players.
Hang on,
that could possibly have it.
let me look at individual teams real quick and see if we've got how we feel about this.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep scrolling through as you'll look that one up. Total kills at first to 15 kills occur.
All right. So I guess it depends on whether you think BDD is going to continue to pop off. Because he has 36 kills across 8 games, which means he's averaging 4.5 a game. So I don't know. I think that's a little risky.
All right. I was just in my head. I can just imagine seeing laughing Perkz on screen, just inting and being like, "Yeah, we lose this game, so who cares?" And maybe trying to catch lightning in a bottle. All right, I think we're good here. We put in 2 or 3 bets on this one as well, and that covers us with many different bets. Let's go check my 10 bets that we put together. So we'll start with the first ones there. T1 over Chovy Life Esports, Hanwha Life. That seems pretty straightforward. After that, in that T1 game, it was the under 24 kills in that game. We think that one's going to be a clean game 1 series. In game 2, EDG over RNG. Just a series win because that game was a little stressful and scary. And then in this one, we have Damwon Kia taking the... Where's my series win? Did I not bet on the series for Damwon? Well, we bet on 3 things here for Damwon. We bet on over Barons, so over 1.5 Barons. We bet on first Dragon going to Damwon. We bet on total turrets going to Damwon as well. We're betting on the resiliency of Mad Lions. And then to close things out here, 4 bets in the Cloud9 game. Series win for Cloud9 at the 3-1 rate. That was pretty good. We gave first turret over to Gen.G. We gave first Baron over to Cloud9 and over the game duration because these guys like to drag out their League of Legends and play a little bit longer of 34 minutes. All right. Those are our bets here. I feel pretty confident on this one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
these are some fun ones. I like
a ton of them.
Yep.
And I feel like this is gonna be a lot of fun to watch. If you guys at home want your opportunity to do that, head on over to djesports.io, create an account, and you'll get yourself some DJ tokens to play for free and make your bets there. So again, thank you to DJ Sports Monty. Thanks for your time and your expertise for knocking this out.
It's fun.
All right, y'all. That has been the Jungle Extra. We'll catch you not only here with our next extra, but also the Jungle. Make sure to go and watch it. We had Yankos on. It's a great episode. Until then, I've been dGon. See you later.